We are not alone. There's more to life than this. Show me what you know. Take me to that place. I'm stuck within these walls. I need a quick escape.
this is FantasyEsque, and welcome back to the Sims 4 Vampire Amazon Royal Saga with the Salazar Coven. We are picking up on an exciting note because there has just been an ancient Visitant ritual performed at the castle. So, let's go through what happened in the movie. Now, a few episodes back, we had this war with the Visitants, and obviously, when we won the war, there were certain things that happened afterwards. We released Meredith from, or the Coven did, they released Meredith from her prison at the Visitant camp, and then I'm assuming while they were there, they acquired this book that belonged to Tilke, the Visitant warlock. So that book was given to our new alchemist, Lady Xiomara, because she's probably the only one who'd be able to decipher its secrets, being a magic user herself. So she was going through this book when she found this ancient, I keep wanting to say vampiric ritual, and it is, but an ancient visitant ritual called the Vampiri Genesis Transferon. And essentially what this ritual does is delve into the genetics of a vampire and transfer certain characteristics from one form into another. It can go both ways, from the dark form to your normal form, or to your normal form to your dark form. So this ritual, she took it to the priestess and said, there's this thing we can do that will help the Dravage twins, right? Because we know that the Dravage twins have been struggling quite a bit their entire childhood with their non-vampiric eyes. They've been struggling with that. And Xiomara, she obviously got up to date with the castle politics, and she figured, well, she is definitely going to be serving in the next generation, like under the new queen, and it would be good to have even more allies by doing something that is going to help, for example, people like the Dravagers. And she also knows that their life might get harder under a new queen, like in the new reign, right? For whoever kind of stays behind or to serve in the court, or regardless of whether they're here or in Forgotten Hollow, they are going to have it tough, especially if Genevieve becomes queen. And at this point, I think people are kind of unsure. Eden seems the stronger one out of the two, but a lot more of the older vampiresses are siding with Guinevere. Did I say Genevieve? I meant Guinevere, sorry. So all of this drama is happening. And Galaxia, for a lot of her life, has been quite oblivious. I don't know about oblivious or ignorant, if that's the right word, but she hasn't really paid too much attention to or cared about the fact that the Dravagers, her nieces, are going through all this crap. I think she has kind of put it out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, until this point when Xiomara brought it up to her, and she's like, you know what, yeah, they have been going through these problems, I am aware of that. So she resolved to do this ritual to help them somehow. So Xiomara and Galaxia went to Prince Voldemort at the prison fort, and they said, we need your word to release your warlock into our service so that we can do this ancient ritual. And if you help us, then we're going to negotiate your release from prison. So Voldemort gave Tilke the go, and Ethel warned the vampires that it is a severe ritual. It is a severe spell that they wish to cast, and it does kind of have a side effect. It does have a consequence. Yes, the Dravagers, the subject of the ritual, they will be changed, but that also means that in their dark form, they will be rendered blind. So they were willing to take that risk, and this ritual was performed. And essentially, what this ritual is supposed to do is move the vampiric eyes, right? Move the vampiric eyes, transfer the vampiric eyes that Lagarth and Meredith have in their dark form to their normal form. So that's the ritual that we just undertook. Now, it isn't complete just yet. There's a final part of the ritual that now Xiomara has to help the vampires through. So this ancient skull seeped in magic was one of the items in the crates that the visitants kept in their camp. It was in storage for a long time and it was taken out for the purpose of this ritual. But now Xiomara, Ethel's kind of done his part. She has to escort these two. Look at them. They're blind, guys. They're blind. Oh my goodness. Our precious ladies are blind. Okay, but she has to escort Meredith and Lagatha to the magic realm. So right now they're blind in this form, but to complete the transfer entirely, I mean, they are changed, but to complete it and grant it permanence, they now have to travel to the magic realm and they have to drink from a spellcaster. So they have to hunt, essentially, in this new form. They have to drink from a spellcaster. They need, like, I mean, obviously, Xiomara, she gave herself, like, she offered herself as the bridge for this dark magic, and then Galaxy offered herself as a thread to bind the dark energy, because, you know, Ethel and such, he's a spellcaster, so he works with magic, and the vampires work with dark energy, so they have to bind those two forces together somehow. But now they need to make the change permanent. They need a direct source of magic from the blood of a spellcaster. So they have to go and hunt from the magic realm, and it has to be blood that they're drinking in the magic realm itself, so that there is that increased kind of power, right? So let's get Xiomara to escort these ladies. Hold on a second. Let's form a group. Where is our other lady? Where is the other one? Fine, we'll just add you then. Have you not met... Oh, this is just silly. Apparently she hasn't even met... You know what? Give her a respectful introduction. Oh, well, no, friendly. We'll do friendly. We'll do a friendly introduction with Lagatha, and then you have to escort her to the magic realm. So let's add her to our group. Okay, excellent. We're going to go do that. Now, Ethel, he is going to maybe stay here for a bit. I don't know. He's free. He's free to return to the fort right now. We're going to get Galaxia to fly inside because in case we come back during the day, I don't want it to be out here in the sun. We don't want that. And this whole portion was built specifically for this ritual, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, this new area was built for that ritual. Okay, now Xiomara is going to guide them into the magic realm. So, let's head on. There we go. I mean, this is something that has plagued them for the entire childhood, and I feel like the Dravage twins would have jumped at the chance to give themselves a permanent change. Yes, being blind in your dark form is a serious cost, but I think it's something they're willing to deal with so that they can have their vampiric characteristics in their normal form. And I mean, the ritual wouldn't even be possible if they didn't have those genetics in the first place. I mean, you have to remember that their mother, Ciri, had the vampiric green eyes. And then their father, was it Edward Savage? He had the vampiric, like the glowing blue eyes. So that's why these girls, even though in the normal form they didn't inherit the glowing eyes, they did get the glowing eyes in the dark form because it was in their genetics. So then they were able to use this vampirigenesis transferrin to move that, to transfer that over to their normal forms. But if they didn't have it in their genes, then they wouldn't be able to do it anyways. So, okay, now it's time for you guys to hunt. Right, Xiomara, she's let them loose in the world. Let's see who we can find. Let's see who we can find. Come on, Lagatha. Let's hunt this spellcaster down. There we go. There we go. That's right. Drink! Drink her magical blood. Nice. Nice. Okay, I feel bad for these spellcasters, but you know, vampires and their superior selves and odd dark rituals. Okay. So she just drank, and now she is going to... Actually, hold on. She drank, and now her sister has to hunt. So let's get her sister to hunt. Where can she hunt? Who can she grab? Where can she grab? Okay, do we have any people walking around here? Do we have... Okay, we have this. We have this one. We've got this guy in here too. Maybe we'll go for him. Let's go hunt him down. Come on, let's go hunt him down. Oh, this is exciting. With her blood red hair. I am sad that they're blind, but you know, there's a price to pay for fitting in. And seriously, they're gonna need it. Like, it's one less thing to be picked on in the next generation. Who knows if Guinevere will succeed in being queen, and we don't want them to have a miserable existence, right? Okay. And now she's gonna drink. Excellent. She's taking in his magical blood to help complete the ritual. Oh, still going. Still going. Right. Okay. Still going, still going. Okay, she is now done. Excellent. Now we're gonna get her to come here. We'll get Lagatha here. We'll get Xiomara. And then she is going to basically make she's gonna complete the ritual, the spell. She's gonna essentially, hold on a second. Now, in order, you know, for this to work, they had to have that magical blood in their blood, like in them, for Xiomara to be able to pull from it and essentially complete the process. So she's gonna go here. She is going to... Actually, you know what? I feel like this would be more of an untamed thing. So yeah, she's gonna complete this ritual by casting her spell. Right, okay, so here she goes. While she's doing this, one by one, these girls will transform. So Lagatha, she's gonna transform into her normal form. And there we go! She has the glowing green eyes! She's got the vampiric green eyes, guys. I mean, this was what she was supposed to be born with, to be fair, you know? And now it's her sister's turn. Okay, now Meredith is going to go back to her normal form. Yep, come on. Come on, Meredith. Let us see those beautiful blue eyes. Come on, let us see them. And there we go! Look at that! Look at her beautiful blue eyes. I mean, she had, in her normal form, she had the dull brown eyes, but her vampiric genes was blue, so that got transferred over. Oh, she looks like a fairy. Guys, our Dravage twins have the vampiric eyes now. Oh, I am excited. I love this. It's so cool. Okay, Xiomara is done. And this is cool. This is great. I mean, it's the first kind of initiative she's taken with anything. The first kind of big ritual she's done. spell she's cast and, made that change. So I feel like, I'm hoping this is going to get points in the court, right? Overall, especially the older vampires, they're probably going to approve of this change. Anything to make themselves superior, and this, in their eyes, is social superiority. So that's great. I love it. But now, we're going to head back to the castle. No doubt these ladies, they already would have spoken to the queen and gotten her approval, because, they can't do these things without the queen's approval. But they're going to report the change back to her, the completion of the ritual, and then I imagine the queen is going to basically organize the release of the prince and maybe his visitants. Like, they're going to discuss how that can be done and under what conditions. So, okay, I am going to get that all set up, and then we will be right back. Okay, the visitants have been freed, and this is what the queen has arranged for them. Tiba, definitely not you being naked in the rain, but this is what she has arranged. So the queen decided to enlist the visitant warlock into the Salazar army. So now warlock Ethel Tilke serves the queen. The army status of the visitants have been dismantled, and Galaxia was sent back to Voldemort to have a good chat with him, and basically they told him that what is the point of fighting us? Even if you go back home, your people think you've been dead for a long time. In fact, we heard about the assassination. Obviously, they interrogated these visitants while they were in the prison fort, and they said that they found out there was an attempt on Prince Voldemort's life, right, while he was at the camp by the brother of Samwise, Sauron, who was ultimately killed by Ethel. But there was that, and I think Galaxia and even Yuki spent their time trying to convince him that if your brother, one of your brothers tried to kill you, even if you do go back, there is still the fight for the throne there, and you'll never live a peaceful life. You're gonna go back from one war into another, and ultimately your family members are gonna see that you're dead. They're gonna see to your death, right? So instead of going back to all of that turmoil and strife, why don't you give up this pursuit of conquest? Let them continue believing that you are dead and live a good life here in the Salazar Empire. Now, obviously, the queen is not going to want any sort of challenge to her rule, but she has decided that if they, put down their arms and don't fight, she will make them honored members of her society. So the prince can keep his title of prince. He can keep his royal title, and all of the men in his service, in his group, they will be awarded the title of lord. So we know we've only ever had one lord in the empire at a time, and that has typically been the queen's oldest brother. Right now it's Lord Frederick Salazar, and before that it was Lord Art Salazar, who was the first lord that we've ever had. But now the queen's elevating the status of all of these visitants, and she's built them this House of Lords, which is in Brindleton Bay. It is not that far from Castle Aphrodite. So you just kind of go down here, and she's given them the House of Lords, like in the capital city, right? And all she wants them to do, oh, darn it. There's this patch of pink, and I want to make it not pink. Oh well, can fix that at some other time. But essentially, they can live a life of luxury here, and then in the future, of course, be used as breeding stock. But that is that. If they don't fight, they don't have to worry about being prisoners. They don't have to worry about going back. No conquest, no nothing. They can just stay here. So that is what the queen has decided. Obviously, if they take advantage of this, in the future, they might be decimated, depending on whose queen, and Aphrodite has let them know that she, being a benevolent monarch, is giving them this status and this place. But if they're not on their best behavior, I didn't even realize there were like computers here. Darn, I have to get rid of that. I don't like, and TVs? I don't even keep track of that. I need to get rid of all of this technology because I do not like my Sims having technology in these places, in these houses, so I will deal with that. But I will also leave the creator of this lot and the name of the lot in the description, so you guys can find it in the gallery if you want. It's called Little Palace 6 by 52 Popeye. So sometimes I lose my notes, like I make these notes, but I lose them. So I try and always find it again and put it in the description, even if I forget to mention it in the video. But there we go. I did have to make some adjustments because I didn't have all the packs that this lot used, but that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, Queen, she is going to figure out differences perhaps. And the thing is, right, a lot of these vampiresses, they do have this animosity towards different members among the Visitant group, like Voldemort and the Queen. They despise each other. I mean, they're practically enemies, right? So the hope is that once this generation kind of dies and passes on, that the next generation, like this will make a good foundation for the Visitants and the next generation, and they will kind of, I don't know if being in service of is the right word, but they will have some sort of respect for each other, right? And there won't be any sort of threat. The Salazars have already proven they can put the Visitants down if need be, but right now they're showing some grace. So that's what has been decided by our Queen. So, you know, she's gonna try her best to be kind, and she has brought along her counselors to welcome these guys into the House of Lords as lords into their society. And I think it was important also to make this gesture and make all of them lords, because it's not something the Salazars typically do. And if they treat the Visitants, especially because Voldemort's a prince, if they do treat the Visitants like the soldiers, the Salazar soldiers, then the Visitants are going to revolt at some stage, right? They have to give them a life that's worth maintaining. So this one of luxury is what, like, worth maintaining. Now the Queen also has certain clauses put out, or like things for the future for these guys. Essentially, any of, like, if Voldemort ends up having any sons, his sons will inherit the title of prince from him. And any of the lords, if they have sons, their sons will also inherit the title of lord, and they'll be exempt from, I haven't decided, lord or master. They'll be given the title of lords, I think, and they will be exempt, like once they come of age, they'll be given the title of lord, and they'll be exempt from the military. So they'll live in the House of Lords. They won't have to join the military as, like, common soldiers, essentially. But if the Coven members, if they have sons from non-Visitant males, then they'll still have to join the army. It's just these guys have special benefits, and their bloodlines will have, like the males in their bloodlines will have certain benefits because of this agreement with the Queen. So, yeah. Now this, all of this, the eye-changing ritual, this whole thing, is what I meant in the previous episode when I said there was still something left that I wanted to get done before we kind of got to the end of the season. It was this. So now that we have the eye ritual settled with the Dravage twins, we have this settled with the Visitants, I am much happier. I feel like Aphrodite has stabilized everything at the end of her reign. Stuff is in order. I don't feel like we have any loose threads hanging, so we can get kind of the next stage of the adventure going. We can get the next stage worked out. So I am not gonna do the challenge in this episode. I definitely want to save it for the next episode. Otherwise, I feel like it's just too much. It's too much. It is crazy. I feel that we have gone through this generation so quick. But it was quite fun. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this generation was very fun. And because we had the children so quick, they grew up so fast. They grew up, and it was kind of odd. It was kind of odd. Now, because the way things have been in this generation, like with the daughters and stuff, in the next generation, I mean, I'm still gonna keep the whole multiples thing with the lot traits and such. I never give them like fertility traits, but I use the lot traits and such. I am gonna leave that as a thing, but instead of twin daughters, I think I've kind of had enough of the twin daughters. I know in this generation I was excited to have 3 sets of female twins because we hadn't ever had that before, but since we've spent a whole generation dealing with that, I do want multiples, but I want boys to be born. Like, we need soldiers in the army. We lost a bit in this generation, and then like with Mage's death and one of the other Salazar boys we lost, and obviously Edward Savage, we lost him. He was exiled at the beginning. So I definitely want more soldiers because we have certain members that are currently serving who have been around for generations, like Casey Salazar. I mean, some of them, like Jamie, are unbred, but then there's certain ones that have already sired children who really should have left the Empire by now to, pursue their own things and, like, kind of self-exile, and we were supposed to have younger, their sons kind of replace them, or nephews, or just male soldiers replacing them, but we can't because there's a shortage, and I have this thing where I don't like splitting my twin soldiers. Like, if I have a set of twins or triplets that are soldiers, I like keeping them together stationed at the same place. So I feel like I don't have enough of these male sims from the bloodline, and I like assigning males from the bloodline to those roles. I don't have them, and I want to breed more in the next generation, so hopefully we can do that as a thing. But also, with the daughters, I don't want my twins or triplets anymore. I would like to have them as, like, individual sims. So we can have, like, five, I want girls from, like, 5 different births, essentially. I don't want them to be, like, twins or triplets. I think I've enjoyed it this generation, but I've also kind of had enough. I want some variety, I want a bit more variety. So that's kind of where my thoughts are at right now, but it's good to know everyone is getting along, mostly, speaking to each other well, and I'm going to get them back into, I'm going to make these, like, edits to the House of Lords that I couldn't before, and then we're going to jump back to the castle and see how things are going with our lovely Sims. Just one last kind of episode of hanging out with them before the big finale, where we have the princesses challenging the queen and seeing how short or how long that whole thing is going to be. Okay, let me go get this worked out, and we'll jump back with the Salazars at the Coven. Now that we are back at the castle, everyone is more or less doing their own thing. I figured it would be a good idea for us to kind of see how everyone, like, how their relationships have maybe updated since the war, because that whole kind of shadow over their heads is over and done with, right? And I know how they felt about the 2 princesses and I suppose each other before the war, but now that the battle has happened and everything's been resolved and even the visitants have been dealt with, I wonder if anyone's impressions of each other have changed. So I'm kind of curious to see who is talking to who, why they might be talking to each other. And also we're going to check the relationship panel to see how things might have changed. There's some obvious ones that we are aware of and others that I don't think we are as much. So we have a crowd of Meredith, Elaine, and Eden over here, interestingly enough, and they seem to be getting along quite well. So I am glad for that. Now, Meredith seems to have a very strong relationship with Eden. Galaxy is joining them. Catherine's talking with them from a distance because she and her sister do not get along. We know that right now. She's very close to Catherine, a little bit closer than to Elaine. So I suppose in that dispute, Meredith would probably side with Catherine over Elaine, but they're cousins, so they do have a good relationship. And Elaine, I feel like Elaine kind of treats everyone with disdain, but it's veiled disdain, so nobody really knows. They think she's a good companion of theirs, and she maintains that, like, when everyone else is watching. So, okay, Catherine braved up and decided to sit with Elaine and the others over here. And Galaxia, she's floating now. Too many bubbles. But yeah, these are her daughters. So it's kind of good to see her spending time with her daughters and her niece. So that is happening there. A little bit of a crowd. I almost wonder if this is like Eden supporters on this side. And actually, last time, I think we only checked the older Sims in court. But I think this time around, I actually want to see everyone's relationship and like even the youngsters, and see who they side with, like which princess they're siding with. Because I feel like at this point, everyone's made up their mind as to who they want to support and who they want to be the next queen, right? They know it's imminent. They know this challenge is coming up, and both princesses are qualified. So who is trying to get into contact with you? Oh, okay. So Siri, she's been hanging out with Beau Salazar, which is kind of cool. I don't know if that's in a romantic way. And what? Elaine's the one who recommended them? Elaine, what are you plotting? What was going on there? I don't know. Now, Lagatha, what is she doing? Okay, looks like Xiomara has joined the conversation here. The others have left. Lagatha is chatting with her. Or she was. I feel like that is good. Like I said, Xiomara might have scored points with those two sisters because she helped them through that ritual, and, she actually found the ritual. Otherwise, they would have maybe continued to struggle in the next generation. Who knows if the others still feel badly about them, but I don't know. Their opinions might change over time. They might stop becoming a bit more tolerant of the Dravagers because now the Dravagers, look the part. Or at least, even if the others aren't tolerant, they'll have the appearance behind their demeanor. So that's good. Okay, Xiomara, she's dancing, she's enjoying with the others, still very much talking to the Dravagers, which is good. Probably like checking up on them to make sure that her first big ritual went down fine. So she's being a really good alchemist. Not gonna lie, she's being an excellent alchemist. Aphrodite, obviously enjoying herself because she, as far as she's concerned, has been a great queen, and she has prepared the next generation very well. And now she's established peace after, a turbulent time, so she's ready to hand over a peaceful queendom to her children. Saphira, angry as usual, but training because she is very disciplined. Not passionate, but disciplined. So, yeah, she's doing that, and looks like Yuki and Eden were... Well, Yuki was training with her. Yuki loves training, and she never gets upset by it, unlike Saphira. And Eden spends a lot of time up here as well, but she's more into wellness and such. Galaxia's dancing with the others. Lagatha has joined her. I wonder if Galaxia would have become a little bit closer with her nieces, since she did help them with the ritual as well. And I feel like without her, Xiomara would not have been able to convince the queen or even go and convince Voldemort to help out, because Galaxia is the one with authority. Xiomara's a new face. Okay, Yuki, I'll let you be. Give you some space. Look at Elaine. She's like staring down her sister. Catherine's just there on her own on the other side, and Elaine's probably like glaring daggers at her. Yeah, Catherine, she's over here. She's kind of intimidated, I feel like, by Saphira and her sister. She's just being on her own. What's Guinevere up to? Guinevere, what are you up to? Okay, Guinevere is gonna talk to Eden. Like, we know things have been a little bit rough between them. Just a little bit. Where is Eden? Eden's down here. She's not chatting with Eden. She's watching Eden play with dolls and she's laughing. I think at this point, I mean, we know this has happened. This is exactly what happened before the Autumn Caravan. You remember when I told you guys that there was an incident at the castle where Eden was playing with dolls? And some of you are saying maybe it's strategy, but, you know, typically chess is used for that, so I don't think that's it. But she was doing exactly this, and then a whole bunch of the Coven members came here to watch her. And Guinevere was kind of at the head of that, laughing, and she's doing the exact same thing now. And Eden, this is dangerous. You've got the two evil Sims over here with you. She's got an evil sister who is laughing at her, and I think, like I was saying, I think Guinevere at this point views Eden as a joke, and she doesn't even think Eden's competition. Yes, Eden is stronger than her because Eden defeated during sparring with the champion, she won the first time around. Guinevere won on her fourth try. She's stronger, but still, Guinevere maybe overestimates herself and views her sister as a joke. But she and Elaine are now chatting, and whenever they chat, there's always plotting between them. So that's very curious. These are the scary Sims to have next to each other. Like, imagine if Guinevere became queen and Elaine ended up on her court. Like, that would be scary. Who knows, like, if she was her advisor, if she was one of the council members, if Guinevere became queen, like, who knows the crap they would get up to. And then Eden, yeah, she's joining her mother. She's partying it up just a little bit. But, okay, now that we've kind of gone through just basically what everyone was doing, I want to check their relationships. What is flippin' happening with their relationships? So we'll start off with, with Meredith, and it'll work its way up to Catherine. So let's take a look. Who does she support? Now, where are the princesses? Okay, she has a closer relationship with Eden. So in this battle for the throne, she actually supports Eden, and she wants Eden to be the next queen. And actually, I'm just gonna note down like how many supporters they have, because I'm gonna forget by the time we get to the end of this. So let's see, we've got Eden, we've got Guinevere. Okay, so Eden right now, Eden has one supporter, and that is Lagatha. So that's kind of curious. But Eden, I mean, to be fair, she has been quite soft-hearted, and Guinevere is the one that's always been torturing her, so it actually makes sense that she would support Eden, because Eden has never given them any issues. And Guinevere at this point, I mean, she's friends with them apparently, good friends with them, or good friends with Meredith, but I think it's more like Guinevere faking civility and Meredith going along with it, because she knows that Guinevere has more power than her, and if she is on Guinevere's bad side, if she decides to openly challenge her, things won't end well for Meredith. So she is keeping a civil relationship and feigning a friendship with Guinevere for others to see, essentially. But she does support Eden, and she genuinely does like Eden. So that's interesting. And what about her sister? Oh, Lagatha feels differently. Lagatha is actually in support of Guinevere as the next queen. Ooh, she doesn't support Eden. That is fascinating. The twins are split, guys. The Dravage twins are split. Now, Lagatha was also one of the Sims bullied by Guinevere when she was young growing up. Guinevere always made it miserable for them too, but Lagatha has always been the one with the cooler head, the more mature sister who's always guiding Meredith, and I feel like she is just emotionally stronger and more resilient. And I suppose Lagatha feels that, you know what it is. Was there romance between Catherine and Xiomara? Okay, honeys. But I think I know what it is. Before the battle happened at the Autumn Caravan, we know that Eden was very, non-combative right? She was a pacifist. She didn't want to go to war. Whereas Guinevere kept pushing them to wipe out the Visitants, and she kept saying that, they're going to be pushed into a corner soon and they will have to pay. So they can't escape from the war. They have to be able to fight it. And in the end, what ended up happening, Lagertha's sister, Meredith, who Lagertha values above all else, her precious sister, was kidnapped by the Visitants, and she was held hostage, and they had to go to war to fight for her and win her back. So I think in Lagertha's eyes, no matter how much Guinevere bullied them when they were young, if they had listened to Guinevere earlier, Meredith's life would never have been put at risk. And when it comes to being queen in the future, Lagertha feels that if Eden has power, Eden is going to put them in another situation like this, where someone is going to be in danger or someone's life may end up being lost, like Sophia's was. I mean, they had to go to war, and then, Sophia died as a consequence of that. So she's not willing to go through that, because this time they managed to get her sister back. What if it happens again in the future and they can't get Meredith back? Meredith is killed. Lagertha feels that if Guinevere is in power, Guinevere is going to be more decisive, and she's not going to let it come to that. So I think, despite their past, that is why Lagertha supports Guinevere. Fascinating. I love it. Okay, Xiomara, she has been flirting with Catherine, apparently. Yeah. But who is she in support of? This is apparently, well, that's quite clear, isn't it? Actually, yeah. Well, Xiomara... Oh! Auraluna aged up into an adult cat! She can now go be out of the basement. Auraluna, let me tell... Oh, she's precious. Look at that. Oh, Auraluna. She looks kind of freaked. She's like, oh my goodness, is that my fine backside? Is that my tail? That's me? Yeah. Yes, Auraluna, that is you. You look adorable. That is your tail. You are a fluffy cat now. You are no longer a kitten. You don't have to be down here in the basement all the time. You can actually go up and explore this huge, wondrous castle. Yeah, Auraluna is probably going to join us upstairs in a bit. But so fluffy, so cute, and those precious blue eyes. But okay, going back to Xiomara. So she and Eden and Guinevere are very close on her panel, but I can see that she's got a bit more relationship with Guinevere than Eden, so she supports Guinevere in this quest for power. And I feel like with Xiomara, erratic. I feel like with Xiomara, she probably feels as though Guinevere's rise to power is inevitable. Like, Guinevere has such a strong personality that her becoming queen is inevitable. And I think that's why she was so adamant in doing the Vampiri Genesis transference. I think that's why she was like, when she found out about that ritual, she was so adamant on doing it for Meredith and for Lagertha, because she feels as though Guinevere is going to come into power for sure. She's kind of thrown all her bets behind Guinevere. So they have to prepare for that eventuality. And that's why I think she supports Guinevere. Like, there's no question for her as far as who the more powerful vampiress is. And I feel like even for her future, it's important to support the one that most likely is going to be her ruler, right? So, okay, she's thrown her support behind Guinevere, and I feel like a lot of alchemists, they are attracted to the powerful vampiresses, because those are the ones that are going to dictate whether they have a good life or a miserable life in the coven. So, okay, Xiomara, she's new, but she has cast a vote. She's kind of seen the power dynamics, and she feels Guinevere is the one to go for. Now, the queen. Who is the queen going to support? Before the war, we know the queen supported Guinevere. And I wonder if that has changed. So the queen... Oh, it has changed. The queen is no longer in support of Guinevere. The queen actually supports Eden now. So, I mean, Guinevere was right that they had to go to war and they were forced to fight. So, Guinevere has foresight, but the queen, like, everyone had expectations of Eden, and the fact of the matter is that Eden did deliver during the battle. She actually won her personal fight, and she did not let them down. And as far as anyone else could see, you know, she proved them wrong. People were worried she was too childish, and she'd be squeamish, and she wouldn't be able to do what had to be done, but Eden delivered as heiress. She didn't let anyone down in that regard. So I think the queen, she's gone back to thinking that actually we all thought Eden wasn't ready, but the war has shown us that she is, and we should stop trying to underestimate what she was born to do. So, interesting. So the queen is on Team Eden. So both Eden and Guinevere at this point have like two people on their side. Okay, let's go to Saphira. We know that Saphira and Sophia had a fight before during the Autumn Caravan because Saphira supported Guinevere and Sophia supported Eden. Has that changed? Nope, that has not changed. Saphira is still in support of Guinevere. I mean, we know she spoke up during the Autumn Caravan and she said that Princess Guinevere had a point about them being forced to go to war at some point, and that was true. That ended up happening. And I think that just validates for Saphira that Guinevere is the one to support. She is the more realistic vampire. And the more, well, vampiric one. So, yeah, she's still in support of Guinevere. Nothing has changed for her as far as she's concerned. And she did win her own fight as well during that battle. Oh, look, our Luna! She's adventuring like all these new passages that she didn't have access to before as a kitten. Oh, you're so cute. So cute. Okay. Galaxia. Now, Galaxia was on the fence. We couldn't tell whose side she was on. Hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guinevere. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Guinevere at one point. Okay, let's see. Galaxia, she wasn't really on anyone's side, so I wonder if she has finally picked a side in this battle. It's still so hard to tell, but actually I feel like she's got a bit more relationship with Guinevere than she does with Eden. Yep. So Galaxia, she is on Team Eden. I mean, Guinevere, sorry. She is in support of Guinevere as the next queen, which is interesting. And I wonder why that would be. I mean, she knows Guinevere has treated the others not that great. But I think, you know what? For Galaxia, she was one of, like, she and her bloodline, essentially, are the only ones who lost their own personal fights. And I feel like maybe there's a bit of, like, self-criticism and disappointment in herself. And I think she feels as though she let down the coven, and Guinevere could do the fight that she could not, and Guinevere was ready to face the reality that there would be a fight. So I think maybe she feels more secure. Like, she feels like, and seeing that her daughters lost actually as well, seeing that her daughters lost during the battle, it's quite clear to her that her daughters need someone to rely on, and they cannot necessarily rely on Eden. They might be able to rely on Guinevere. And Guinevere's never made things hard for the Dragon Sisters, so that's another thing. I feel like, being a selfish mother, Galaxia is going to think for the benefit of the dragons rather than the Dravagers, her nieces. So, that's interesting. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, okay. So right now, it seems like Guinevere's kind of winning. Let's go to Yuki. Who does Yuki support? Now, Yuki stood up for Eden's point of view during the Autumn Caravan, but I think she was in support of Guinevere. But she was trying to be, like, she was trying to represent all sides, being the scholar that she is. At this point, she is totally in support of Guinevere. Like, way more than Eden. She still supports Guinevere in being the next monarch. And I suppose not only Guinevere's strengths as a scholar, Yuki most probably values Guinevere's smarts. She feels as though Guinevere is intelligent enough to see through like things and to analyze situations, which is an important quality to have as a queen, and to be able to take action. You have to kind of know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You can't let others dictate what's going to happen, right? And Eden, she was kind of holding back and not expecting things to go bad, whereas Guinevere was prepared for that eventuality. So I understand why Yuki is in support of her, so that's kind of cool. Now for the Dragon Sisters, Galaxia's daughters who lost during the war. I wonder if that taught them a lesson. I don't think previously we kind of saw who they supported, but I want to see who they support now. So Elaine, the evil one. Let's see who Elaine supports. So, Elaine supports Guinevere. That is no surprise, to be honest. We are not surprised by that because we know from a very young age, Elaine has been, like, chatting up Guinevere quite a bit, trying to get close to Guinevere as the princess that she's supporting because Guinevere is also evil. They have that in common. Not that Guinevere knows Elaine is evil, maybe. Because I feel like Guinevere... like, Elaine kind of hides it more than Guinevere. Guinevere reveals it to certain people of her generation, but not to the elders. And Elaine hides it from everyone in general. But Elaine does like using Guinevere's darker side to manipulate her into doing things. Or, you know, treating others in a certain way. Like terrorizing her cousins sometimes, or making them feel terrible. So yeah, Elaine does that from behind the scenes. So it makes sense. She feels as though Guinevere would be an easier queen to manipulate for the darker deeds that she has in mind, whereas Eden's too nice to go ahead and, you know, say something terrible or make someone an outcast. Guinevere would totally be for that. She's more passionate about the people she dislikes, so that makes sense to me. It's like more power for Elaine, right? Power that she can use if Guinevere is queen. Okay, that is, another point for Guinevere. Yep. And finally, her sister Catherine, the nicer one. Who does she support? Oh, look, she supports Guinevere as well. Okay, Catherine supports Guinevere as well. Yes, I mean, Catherine, she, along with her sister, they were like losers at the battle, and their mother. So I think in their mind, Guinevere is the... Like I said with Yuki, you know, Guinevere is the strong, or with Galaxia, Guinevere is the one that can protect you. Because it is quite obvious and evident at this point that they're not capable of protecting themselves. So yes, Eden won that fight, and Guinevere did as well. But Eden didn't want to fight, whereas Guinevere did. And if Guinevere, like if they had put down their enemies before they were forced into the battlefield, they might not have ever needed to fight and therefore might not have ever lost. So I think Catherine, feels more safe with Guinevere than with Eden. So that's, everyone's getting thirsty. I hope they don't start dying on me. But that's interesting. We've kind of had a look at where everyone's feelings are before the challenging happens in the next episode. Unfortunately, Eden has like 2 supporters and Guinevere has 7. There's like 7 people. So everyone, majority of the Sims in court, they are on Guinevere's side. And Guinevere is actually quite smart. I mean, we've seen her... where like Eden's lost in her own world playing with dolls, whereas a lot of the times I feel like we've actually seen Guinevere making an effort to befriend the others and get close to the other court members. So, you know, that is paying off now. So that's curious. So who was on Eden's side? I think it was only Lagatha. No, not Lagatha. It was only Meredith and Aphrodite, right? Meredith and Aphrodite were the only ones on Eden's side. Aphrodite because it's like Eden's birthright, and Eden did prove herself when she had to, and Meredith because she's soft-hearted and Eden was always nice to her, so because of that, because of that, personal feelings, she is supporting Eden. But really everyone else, for one reason or another, believes that Guinevere is the way to strengthen the Empire. She is the way forward. So, I suppose time will tell who actually wins. And now that we know what everyone else is feeling, I want you guys to cast your votes. Like, whose team are you on? Are you on Team Guinevere or Team Eden? I don't know at this point. I have no clue. I feel like I'm on Team... I'm not gonna say it. I want to say I'm on Team Guinevere, but like, I'm not gonna be sad if either of them loses or wins. Like, I don't feel too strongly about one or the other. I'm more intrigued, you could say, about how this could turn out. So, yeah, that'll be fascinating. That'll be fascinating to see. But okay, guys, with that said and done, I'm going to leave off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.